So how you can see now your black box is investing in real estate, which is investing in stocks, which is investing in more stocks, which is investing in more stocks. And you don't have to do anything because at this point, this is doing all the work, right? You're not taking anything out of your paycheck. Your black box is doing all the work. Hey guys, Bobby Rio here, and in this video, I wanna really break it down and I wanna give you the steps to becoming a multimillionaire, right? So I wrote down millions with an S there because here's the truth, right? Becoming a millionaire, it's one step and it's an easy step, right? To become a millionaire nowadays, you take a small portion of your paycheck every single month, you scrimp and you save and you don't drink, lattes and you don't go out and you don't take vacations. And when you turn 80, you're a millionaire, right? But who the fuck wants that, right? Making $1 million is not the goal, right? Making $1 million in the next year, maybe that's the goal. But making $1 million, becoming a millionaire is not the goal. If you want to do that, like I said, put the money in your 401k. And when you're 80, you'll be a millionaire. You might not be able to enjoy it, but you will be a millionaire. In this video though, I want to talk about how to become a multimillionaire, and I want to talk about how to do it in less than 10 years, right? Preferably in less than 5 years. I did it in less than 5 years, and that's what I want to show you how to do in this video, because like I said, everything in financial advice now, every time you read like Money Magazine or you read some article in the New York Times or some website about how to save for retirement, it's always this idea that you take a little bit of money and you invest it in the stock market. The same thing Susie Orman tells you, or Dave Ramsey, or all those financial guys. And voila, compound interest kicks in and 40 years later, you're a millionaire. And is that true? Possibly, right? Possibly. If the stock market continues to go up, if you continue to invest, you don't get sick or emergency doesn't come where you have to liquidate your 401k, yeah, maybe when you're 80, you'll be a millionaire. But like I said, this video is not about that. This video is about becoming a millionaire quickly and becoming a multimillionaire. So that's what I want to go over, is the steps to doing that. So the first thing and the first step above all else, and this is a mindset step, and I promise you we're going to get very, very tactical in a second, but as a mindset, step number one is you have to become obsessed with it, right? You absolutely cannot become a millionaire quickly without becoming obsessed with it, right? Like I said, if you don't want to become obsessed and you want to just work your job and not drink lattes and not take vacations, you can put money aside. You don't have to think about it. But if you want to become a multimillionaire, you want to do it fast, it has to be your entire life, right? Your entire mindset has to be going towards that goal. You've got to think about it. You've got to have the attitude of like, I am going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to read whatever book I need to read. I'm going to teach myself every skill I need to learn. And if I don't learn the skill myself, I'm going to go find somebody who knows how to do the skill. So that's the mindset you have to have. If you don't have that mindset, if you're like the kind of person who's like, yeah, I'm kind of comfortable, money really isn't that important, then you're not going to become a multimillionaire, right? You've got to want it so bad that when you're out with your friends, your mind is spinning with ideas, right? When you're hanging out with your girlfriend, your mind is half there, half spinning with ideas. And you might be thinking, well, I don't want to be like that. Well, then you don't want to be a multimillionaire, because I've never met any self-made multimillionaire whose a portion of his mind is not always on generating the next idea that's going to bring him up, right? And right there, I said a word, right? And step number two is ideas, okay? Because a lot of people, if you've lived in the United States and you've come up through college and you've done everything that they teach you how to do from the time you were like 4 years old, it was all preparing you for a job. And when you get a job, generally, you're trading your time for dollars, right? You're trading hours for dollars. And a lot of people are really locked in that mindset. I know back in the day, I used to have a paint contracting business, right? And that was my own business, but I still had this mentality of trading my time for hours, for dollars. So if I wanted to make $1 million, it means I had to paint more houses. So mentally there was this block there, because it was like, I wanted to make more money, but in order to do that, I associated with working more hours, and there's only, maybe 10 12 hours a day that you can actually work in. So if you're working, even if you're getting a very high hourly rate, I always use the example that I do coaching and I charge over $250 an hour to do coaching. But in order to make $1 million doing that, in a year, I'd have to do thousands of calls and I'd have to be on the phone for 12 hours a day, and it would be literally impossible to make $1 million a year, even though $250 an hour is a very high rate. So when I say ideas, I mean, in order to become a multimillionaire, you've got to switch your brain from thinking about how can I work more to how can I produce ideas that make money, right? Because money is not made in the millions by working more. It's just not, right? Even if you own your own business, right? So using like painting, for an example, I had a paint contracting business. And to get to that next level of income was not going to be by working harder, right? Or painting my houses better or getting more referrals or any of that sort of stuff that you'll read in a common article. What would take me to that next level, or what would take you to that next level if you already have a business, is finding that one idea that then exponentially grows your income, okay? So let's stick with that idea for that idea of ideas, producing ideas. Well, what do you do with these ideas, right? What is the goal that will get you to millions, to become a multimillionaire very quickly? It is to take these ideas and turn them into what I call a black box, okay? So you absolutely, if you want to become a multimillionaire and you want to do it rather quickly, you've got to develop your own black box. A black box is a product that you can sell that completely separates time and dollars, right? You don't have to work harder. Once you create this black box, you can then sell it over and over again. It's no longer about how hard you're working. It's about how much of this is selling. A black box can be anything, right? I have black boxes that are books. I have black boxes that are audio, video programs. I have my latest black box is a nutritional supplement that I sell on Amazon.com. All of these things, right, are black boxes. If you create a software, that's essentially a black box. If you invent a app, right, for the App Store, that is a black box. If you're come up with an invention, right, and you invent, let's say I was a painter and I invented a better paintbrush and I began selling that paintbrush in Home Depot and Lowe's, that paintbrush is a black box, okay? And black boxes are essentially how you become a multimillionaire very fast. And the thing with a black box is, when you have the obsession and you start producing ideas and then you turn those ideas into a black box, that whole process could take you a year or two, right? So I just mentioned that I had a supplement and I still sell it. I came up with, I was obsessed with supplements, right, for a while. I was obsessed with the idea of creating my own supplement because I take them, I like them, I know a lot about them. But from that obsession became ideas. Well, what is my supplement gonna be? And I started brainstorming and I found a partner, and then we spent 2 years working with scientists, working with manufacturers, all this sort of stuff. So it wasn't like you just put it out, right? But that 2 years I was doing it on the side. I still had my other business. It was like a couple phone calls a week, researching, meetings, right? 2 years of ideas, and now we have a black box. And that black box generates $20,000 a month right now. We literally spend about 5 minutes a month working on that. It sells on Amazon. It's completely hands-off, and it gives us a $20,000 a month revenue stream, okay? So that is first. So let's just erase this, right? So we got step number 1 is obsession, step number 2 is ideas, and step number 3 is black box, okay? Let's start with the black box, because the black box right now is really the key, right? The black box is what will generate you millions and millions of dollars. Like I said, a black box could be software that you invent, an app that you invent, whatever, you know, I'm looking around my studio here. It could be somebody invented a journal, right? They invented something called I think the five-page journal or something. They started selling that. My friend invented a website years ago that was a collection of people popping zits. and the whole website was just him posting zit popping videos of people popping zits, and people would vote on which of the zits was making him $10,000 a month income, right? That's a black box, anything that produces income. But here's the thing, a black box will get you almost there, but if you want to become in the multi-millions, this is the secret, right? So you take your black box, right, and it starts generating income. So let's just use this example of my supplement that generates like roughly $20,000 a month income. Now, because I have my coaching business and my product business, I don't really need that $20,000 a month to live on, right? So what I do now is, now you can do what Susie Orman and all the financial advisors tell you. Now you can take that money and you can invest it, right? Because a lot of people, like when you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says, go out and buy real estate. Well, if you don't have money, right, you can't buy real estate. It just doesn't happen. Like, you need to have money to put as down payment. You need to have money to float a building if it's not rented for a couple months. You got to be able to make those payments. So you need money coming in order to buy real estate. And like I said, with stocks, yeah, you can become a millionaire when you're 80 investing in the stock market. But if you want to become a millionaire quickly with the stock market, you need large sums of money flowing in. So step 3 is your black boxes. Let's just say your black box is making you $20,000 a month on the side. Let's say you keep your full-time job, right? And you've got that black box generating you $20,000 a month. So now you take that $20,000 a month and you move to step 4. And now you invest that, right? And let's say you invest it at something that earns you 8%, right? We're not going to get crazy. A lot of people, when they come to investing, they want to invest in something like Bitcoin and they want to like quadruple their money in a year. But that's not investing, right? That's speculating, and most people who speculate don't wind up making any money. They might brag about how much money they made in Bitcoin this year when Bitcoin was high, but when it crashes, you don't hear from them. I saw it all over Facebook, all the people bragging about how they were a millionaire and then now they're not, right? 8% is basically what you're going for nowadays. That could change up and down a little bit depending on where the investing climate is. But right now, if you can get 8%, you're doing pretty good, right? So you take that $20,000 and you invest it in an asset that earns you 8%, right? So for me, what I did was, after I got about $60,000 in black box money, I put it into my first investment property, right? That investment property, I put $60,000 down, it made 8%, okay? I bought that property for $240,000, right? I bought it, the market was a little slow back then, so I got a pretty good price on it, right? So for years now, that investment is making $8,000, right? So that on that $60,000, I was actually making about $20,000 a year, okay? $20,000 a year. Now that $20,000 a year, I didn't take it, I didn't spend it, because I still had my main source of income making me all the money, right? So that $20,000 a year now goes into other investments, right? So now that money can go into stocks, right? Those stocks, you're buying income producing stocks, dividend stocks, right? That also pay 8%, okay? So now that 8% that you're making on those now begin to buy more stocks, okay, that are also generating 8%, which buy more stocks that generate 8%, okay? So how you can see now, your black box is investing in real estate, which is investing in stocks, which is investing in more stocks, which is investing in more stocks, and you don't have to do anything, because at this point, this is doing all the work, right? You're not taking anything out of your paycheck, your black box is doing all the work, okay? And then what happens eventually is, one of your assets increases in value so much that you can liquidate it, right? So for me, this $240,000 house, the market right now in real estate has gotten hot, and I can probably sell this for, the realtor told me that we can get about $450,000, right? So my mortgage payment, mortgage balance is $150K, which means there's gonna be about $300,000 profit, right? So keep in mind, $60,000 was earning me all this money, and now there's $300,000 profit. Doesn't stop there. So now you have this $300,000 profit, right? 300,000 is 30% of $1 million. So now you can buy $1 million apartment building, right? And that apartment building now begins to generate you money, right? So on $1 million, 8% of $1 million is 80,000, but you're not really doing 8% of $1 million because you're only putting 300,000 in. So it's really 8% of 300,000, which is about, my math is not very good, but it's roughly about $25,000 a year, right? So now you got $25,000 a year coming in, okay? Again, you're investing that $25,000 into stocks, which are buying you more stocks, which are buying you more stocks. But that $1 million building, you got to keep in mind now that $1 million building, you're only going to get probably about a 15-year loan, and then it's going to be paid off, right? So after 15 years, now you have this $1 million building, which could appreciate, and let's say it could be $2 million in 15 years. But you still have the black box, right? You never got rid of this, right? You never sold this. So you're still making the $20K a month. You're still doing all this, right? And this is how in 2009, I had literally not a dollar to my name, right? I was in student loan debt of about $18,000. I bought a car on my credit card because I couldn't get a loan back then. So I used my credit card. So I was paying 15% interest on $15,000 car that I bought in back then. So right there, that's about $30,000 in debt that I was, right? I had nothing in my savings account. In 2009, I created a digital product. The digital product was called Make Small Talk Sexy. It was a information product, an MP3 program that I sold for $27, okay? That was my black box, okay? That was in 2009. By 2014, which was 5 years later, I was a multimillionaire by using this exact strategy, right? So you might be saying, well, I don't have a digital program to create, or I don't have an asset, right? I don't have a black box. Well, what I'm telling you is every single minute, you want to go back to step one. You want to get obsessed with it, and then you want to produce ideas. And if you spend the next year producing ideas, you will find an idea to create a black box. It may take you a year, right? It may take you a year, it may take you 2 years, but once you create that idea, you can create an income stream that can then make you very rich very quickly. Now, if the idea of creating what I did was a digital asset appeals to you, I have a class where myself and my good friend Rob Weiser, we teach you how to do this. We teach you how to turn one of your ideas into a product that you can sell, a digital product, right? And we call it advice online. So it doesn't matter if you're an expert guitar player, you're an expert gardener, you're an expert dating advice guy, you're an expert nutritionist, you're an expert woodworker. It doesn't matter if you're an expert. There's people out there that want to learn things, and you can create your own product that then you can sell to pretty much the entire world, because now with the internet, I mean, we have customers in pretty much every country. I mean, literally countries that you don't even think about. When I see sales come in, I have sales from them. So if you're interested in that, there's a link below to take that class. But for now, I want to remember the steps to become a millionaire, right? It's pretty simple. Become obsessed. You're not going to make it happen unless you're obsessed, right? And to get obsessed, you can read books. I read autobiographies. You can listen to podcasts. You can watch videos like this. Anything you need to do to get completely and utterly obsessed. The more obsessed you become, the more your mind begins to focus on ideas. As you focus those on ideas, a lot of them are going to be shit, right? So you want to probably create a journal and just write them down and just keep tweaking them until you find an idea that has legs, right? That has potential. And then you start testing that idea. You don't want to go overboard with any aspect of it except putting it into action, implementing it, because a lot of people have ideas and they're so worried that somebody's going to steal their idea, or they're worried about making sure it's perfect that they never do anything with it. In 2009, when I created my first product, I literally recorded it into a tape recorder. It was not a perfectionist. I was not afraid of anybody stealing the idea. And had I waited until I could do it perfectly, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So just put the ideas into action, right? Once you find an idea that you think has legs, implement it as fast as you possibly can. And then once it starts throwing off income, right? Even if, my income, I said was $20,000, but even if that income is $1,000 a month, right? That $1,000 a month can go into stocks, right? That buy more stocks. and you can get that snowball effect going very quickly. And like I said, if you're interested in a class on how to create an asset, how to turn one of your ideas into an asset, there's a link below, okay? So I hope this gets you motivated and also kind of inspires you to go look past becoming a millionaire, because nowadays becoming a millionaire is as easy as just waiting 50 years, but I don't want you to have to wait 50 years. I want you to do it rather quickly. So that's what I have for you today, and get obsessed.